I'm excited. Next person coming up, saw him at a motivated event, thought he was phenomenally inspirational. His energy was on point, and I just could not wait to work with him for our Flawesome Academy. I'm just going to go ahead and get right into it. Joseph Fountain is the next speaker coming up. He's from Richmond, Virginia. He's a husband, he's a father, he's a business owner, and he's a man of God. And he enjoys helping people and pushing them to greatness. So give it up for Joseph Fountain.
Hey, before I say anything, can you guys please give Miss Aisha the Gap Tooth Diva a round of applause? That was cool, but I need y'all to bring some energy because she's doing a great thing for the community, right? Well, I'm not going to take too much of your time. I'm just going to share a few things and hopefully it helps someone. Okay, is that cool? Can we all be family today?
Yes.
All right, great. So I grew up in Richmond, Virginia. Anybody know where Richmond is? Yeah. Perfect. And I grew up, and I like to share my story a little bit, you know. I grew up in Highland Park, Northside. Everybody know where HP is? Yeah. Everybody knows HP. Don't nobody like to go there? Y'all scared to go through? Right? But I grew up pretty much, you know, it was tough. You know, we didn't always have. You know, I grew up in an environment where most of my counterparts are in jail or either, you know, dead or on the run. You know, that's where I grew up in that type of environment. You know, and I was able to, you know, tear myself away from that mindset. It was always, well, who sold me the nightmare? Because the life I'm living right now is not where God is really, what he really has for me, you know? And so I found myself working, you know, in an engineering company, you know, 5 years later, getting married, and right when my first child was born, I got laid off from my job. And right then and there was when God flipped the script on me, you know? It's right then and there where I found out I had wings that I wasn't using. Because I laugh about it, but he pushed me off a cliff, you know? I didn't understand it at first, but I found out that he had something greater for me, you know? And the greater was in being who I was. Because a lot of times in today's society, we compress that so we can fit in. Anybody know what I'm talking about? Yeah. So who has a dream in here? Is that pretty much everybody, right? Who believes they can achieve their dream? Okay, great. And so here's something I just want to share with you to help you, because this is about, you know, being who you are, okay? And see, who you are is the person that God wants to use. That's who he wants to use, the person that he created you to be, not someone else. So sorry to tell you that, you know, everyone else is taken, so you have no choice but to be yourself, okay? So tap your neighbor and say, I'm going to be myself. I'm serious, tap your neighbor, I'm going to be myself. Because now you gotta understand this, the potential that God gave to you, you know, that's his gift to you. But what you do with that potential, that's how you give that gift back to him. So now I'm gonna share with you a little story, because when we're in the pursuit of being successful as entrepreneurs, or just being a model citizen, or someone that wants to be a greater father, or a greater husband, or a greater wife, or a greater spouse, what happens is, a lot of times we find ourselves trying to conform, like I said, just to fit in, okay? We heard Miss Flawesome, Aisha Gap Tooth Diva's story, okay? She turned a complete flaw into a business, into a way of inspiring others, right? You know, growing up, I'm sure she had people to make fun of her gap, right? They would consider it a flaw. But what she did is she took that and she molded it, and that's why we're here today, and she's giving back to the community. So that's an example of being who you're supposed to be, is accepting that, okay? When you accept who you're supposed to be, you can change the entire world, right? If you don't believe me, who in here has a phone where it's a touchscreen? Just about everybody, right? See, we had people who are innovators in this world, who they were being who they want to, you know, they're supposed to be, being themselves. They had ideas, and those ideas led them to create that technology to where it really revolutionized everything that we're doing, that we do today, okay? Think about lights. Thomas Edison, he just didn't create, you know, the compartments for the light, but he created how the electricity gets to the light. How the electricity gets from that light pole through the house, from the house to the street, okay? Because he was just being who he is, and that's who God created him to be. And so here's something that I want you guys, I'm gonna tell you guys a little story, and hopefully this helps you, okay? There was a young woman who was, you know, running for, you know, to be very successful, and she had a business, and She wanted to succeed, you know, and so in that pursuit, she was having a lot of trouble because she had something unique she really wanted to give to the world, but a lot of people didn't support her. And so one weekend she went to visit her parents, and she went to visit her parents and talking to her mom's in the kitchen, and her mom could sense that something's wrong. And so she said, Mom, you know what? I think I'm just gonna give up. I'm gonna give up because this is hard. I'm just gonna get a regular job and be like everybody else. And her mom said, so you think this is hard? She said, it is. She said, okay, well you keep talking. So the young lady went to continue to keep talking, and so the mom brought out 3 pots. She put the pots on the stove, and she filled them all with water. And so she turned the pots on high and let the water boil. In one pot she put a carrot, the other pot she put an egg, the other pot she put a tea bag in. And so after about 20 minutes, her daughter was like, so Mom, you just gonna cook while I'm pouring my heart out to you? She said, no, I wanna tell you a story. So after about 20 minutes, she turned the stove off, she took the carrot out, and she showed her daughter. She said look, take a look at this. The carrot, it's soft, right? At first when I put the carrot in the boiling water, it was hard, but now it's soft, right? The boiling water caused it to become soft, right? So an example, the boiling water is your environment or your situation or whatever hell it is that you're going through. So you might be someone that has a lot of strength, but your environment may cause you to back up, you know, act as if you're weak, you know, act as if you're not really too sure if you want to keep going. And so then the mom said, you know what, let me get the egg. So you took the egg out. Said, you know, the egg, before that, the egg was soft inside. You know, loving, caring, you know, cared about others, not selfish. But after the egg was placed in the hot boiling water in that environment, you know, it became hard. It became cold. It became heartless. It no longer cared for people like it used to because the environment was breaking it. And then she took the pot of tea, and all she could do was pour it out. You know why? Because the tea bag changed the environment. And so that's what I want to say to you. Are you going to let your environment change you, or will you change your environment? See, your family, the reason why your family is waiting for something to happen is because you're that key. Now, if you don't do what you're supposed to do, your family may have to wait for the next generation because you changed your environment. If you're having a hard time, let that environment teach you something. God's trying to get something out of you, okay? It's not to break you in half, but it's to break you so you can't be broken. And so be the tea bag to where now you change everything that's around you, like this event, using the flaw and becoming a tea bag so that the environment now changes. So now what happens with you then, you become powerful, you become great, but more importantly, you now can share that testimony with others like she talked about earlier. Now you become someone that God can really use because you're willing and you gave him a yes. So I want to encourage you, whatever it is that you're looking for, whatever it is you're trying to do, just be who you are. You can't be no one else. I'm 5'6", I played 6 sports. My number 1 sport was basketball. I'm 5'6", right? And a lot of people didn't think I could really, succeed until I got on the court. Now I didn't make it professionally, it's cool, but I never let those things stop me, right? Because I was always, a little down because I wasn't taller, because I really played a lot of ball. But it's okay. Now I just consider myself tall anyway. just a small tall. Don't laugh, But all I'm saying is, whatever it is that's about you and who you are, be that person. I'm talking to you today, but I never liked it or want to talk to people or talk in front of crowds of any nature. The reason is because I never liked my voice. I never felt like I had anything to share. I felt like, it's better for me to sit back and, do nothing and literally just be like everybody else, never get noticed or anything like that. But everybody understand that God has a different plan for you. It's not always about you, it's about someone else. So like I said before, if you overcome, that means you can help somebody else overcome. If you go through, you can show someone else to go through. And so understand, being you can literally change the world. It can change your community, it can change your family, it can change that relationship. And then understand, if you're in a relationship, don't allow anybody to treat you in any type of way. Just like she said, like the title on there, God don't make no junk. So God made you for a reason and a purpose. He didn't make you to be like everybody else. If he wants you to be like everybody else, then there would be no reason for you to be here. So each of us have a unique and distinct purpose in our life, and it's up to you to embrace it. Don't worry about the process. The process is God's job. How you react to it, that's your job. And if you do the right things, you're in a place called greatness, and you'll be able to help others. So that's my time. I turn it back over to Miss Aisha.